Okay, in search of something to tell you today that you need to know. Primarily, what you have to understand are a lot of troublesome mental storms. What do you need to understand about mental storms? Pretty much that, um, well, do you want to seek shelter from a mental storm? I don't know. Seeking shelter from a sentinel, no, it doesn't work. You cannot really shelter from mental storms because they are in your awareness. And other than turning off your awareness, how are you going to get shelter from a mental storm? What is a mental storm? A mental storm is mental storm. Well, you know it when you're having a mental storm going on. What's the opposite of a mental storm? You'll know it. You'll know it when you're having the opposite of a mental storm. One time, I was in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, and it was sunset. And as far as the eye could see, I just saw beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scenery. It was so beautiful. And what can I tell you? The mind was silent. The mind was total silence. And I was just there being with the beautiful scenery. When you have an experience like this, it's peace. It's peace. And anything that is not the peace that you experience when you're having twilight in the Rocky Mountains is a mental storm. And you feel the difference. Because with that deep peace, you get recharged. Whereas mental storms are nothing but draining. So, I know when I'm experiencing peace. Because I've had these experiences that, are there that I can remember when I had peace. And I know that that peace was real. So it's personal experience that tells me that peace recharges me. Personal experience. It's not from a book. So I want you to understand that it comes from, personal experiences. And if I find some words in a book that follow what I already know to be true, that is that peace recharges me, And, if the book says, oh, there's a scale of human consciousness, and you know what? Peace is a way higher consciousness than mental masturbations. I'm going to go with that because I've got personal confirmation. Because I know what peace feels like for me. And I know what mental storms feel like for me. So I don't ask anybody to take the word of me or the word of some book as gospel. Unless you try it out. And it either is going to work for you or it doesn't. But you're never going to change my mind. You're never going to say to me, wake up, Bob. Mental storms are more important than peace. I'm going to look at you and say, sorry, buddy, it doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't. And, there's a million jackasses on this planet. Probably more like 7 billion jackasses on this planet. So, jackasses are dime a dozen. And if you think I'm calling you a jackass. Because you got a mental storm going on, and, you're being illogical. Who needs to wake up? What does it mean to be awakened? Now, I was talking about rigid intellectual opinions. Rigid intellectual opinions are thought forms. And they're a rigid intellectual opinion because that's what a thought form is. It's a rigidity, it's a density. And then someone is going to say, well, it's either facts or it's not. And then you don't really understand. You don't really understand because you haven't done your homework. Sorry, but that's what I read. I read you haven't done your homework. And I can't do your homework for you. If you're going to run your mouth, then you're like the other 7 billion jackasses on the planet. You run your mouth without knowing what you're saying. Because you don't have a framework for where the words are coming from. And you're trapped by the rigid intellectual opinion that says I'm full of shit. That's what it is. It's a rigid intellectual opinion that I'm not woke. And I look at you and I say, you're just a monkey. You're just a monkey. You got a monkey mind that's the same as all the other monkeys on here. You could go and spend time with 7 billion jackasses, one by one. You've got eternity and see if you can learn something from the individual jackasses. But the individual jackasses came through the same schooling, no matter where you are on the planet. It's the same programmed drone programming that you get from the school systems. And all the movies and video games. And very few people read books. Very few people read books. And those that do Um, I know someone that I don't know where they find them, but you know, twice a month they go to the library and they pull out a James Patterson. That is not intellectual reading. That is simply Groundhog Day. Let's read another. What do you gain from reading this? It beats me, but I'm going to give you a totally programmed individual who cannot progress because they have a closed mind. But they do read. Most people don't. Most people don't read. What they get, well, you know, they had the radio on, they get a 15-minute clip of the news, which is the same news whether it's here or Timbuktu. These same people have no intellectual rigor. In other words, they get this news and they repeat it. They're just a repeater, like a radio repeater. They just keep repeating what they heard. They never go to do simple checks on what they heard to see, you know, anything about it. No, just automatically I heard it and then I repeat it. And, you know, I went to CNN and sure enough, there was more information there. It's like, you know, continual. I did my research. I use Google. Or I went to CNN. That's not research. That's trying to sift through garbage. But people are not given to do any independent research whatsoever. People want to be told. They want an outside authority to play God with them and tell them what to do. And everyone's like that because we're all programmed that way by the Society of Planet Earth. So if you're ever going to escape the matrix of planet Earth, you're going to have to get some independent thought. And beyond thought, at peace, then what happens? Well, can this world run on peace?